Welcome back, everybody. My name's Ron Robot, and today we are going to continue with Buried, an interactive story. We just finished chapter 1. We didn't do too well on our stats, but that doesn't mean we're not going to do well in our next chapter. Where are we now? We're standing out on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used, but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. And there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe? Why are we in a subway tunnel? Or, Dennis, what do you think this is? Well, I definitely don't think it's a subway. Well, it kind of looks like a subway tunnel. But I'm not too sure. Looks like we're waiting for the D train, Dennis says with a deadly sounding cackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sounds. Something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asked. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. I'm not sure this is creepy, or yeah, we'll be fine. Well, we're back to that place where it's, I gotta give him hope. Yeah, we'll be fine. That's what I gotta go with. You reassured Dennis. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy, because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I asked Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe it's kind of sounded like footsteps. I waited for a moment, but the sound doesn't come again, so those are our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Let's go right. Okay. So, I'm going to say we're going to want to go left because I don't trust whatever's going on to the right. There's no point in going because we can't see. What if it's amazing there? We don't want to get lost. So we're going to stay left. Seems smart to stay in the left. Left it is. Alright, or seems smart to stay in the light. Sounds good, okay. Alright, I think we're doing pretty good. Staying in the light. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, luring us forward. Someone left the lights on for us, Dennis says, trying to be funny, but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's a good or bad thing, I say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like any machine I've ever heard. As the light increases, I use it to make an inventory of Dennis and his condition. While the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that is soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk, I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now fully stepping into the light, I notice that the sound of machinery is coming from an area on the left side that is protected by a guardrail. Wisps of bright blue light dance on the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says, Danger, severe radiation poisoning threat. I think we should probably stay back and move on. Dennis, I don't think we should get near whatever's down there, I say. Dennis studies the blue light a bit longer and then nods. He's hurting enough as it is. I don't think we need to add radiation poisoning to his list of ailments, or mine for that matter. We step away and take off down the tunnel again. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. And we're gonna continue. Let's see what's down this way. Okay, we're recording. Oh, what do we got here? It's a little... This does look like a subway tunnel. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles the subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach a large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. Cheech, stop! So I'm gonna say it's okay, take it easy, because I feel like he needs more reassuring, not more demanding. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says with a weak laugh. You need a minute to rest, I ask, as warmly as I can muster. No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up into the platform. Right in the front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who is actually supposed to be here. Stay quiet. I do not want to let anybody know I'm here. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place, and the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream in this empty place, is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently. Maybe most everyone has been evacuated. This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. And we're gonna continue. Let's see what this hallway has to offer, because why not? Oh, pretty. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming to in the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks, and then he asks the question that has been on my mind since I found that little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Oh, where are we now? This is getting pretty interesting. Well, now it's normal. What? This is weird. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency light is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. Okay. The mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm, but for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. One door opens onto a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and paper strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny, I ask, as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Enter the conference room. Enter the lab. I think anything that's going on here is going to be more scientific. The conference room, that's for meetings. I care more about what they're experimenting on or whatever is going on here. So let's look at that. Walking inside, I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or silver, and I instantly feel like I am dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes and glass cases, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have a clear fluid trapping inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. Look at test tubes or look at the laptop. The laptop's going to have more information other than the test tubes. The test tubes are just chemicals. I hit the enter key and plain green dashboard pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on a folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names I mostly don't understand, but there are some things that are easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism of aneurysm, or both? Ideas for new delivery mode, spherical, liquid, induced comatose state, first Terra core, co. equals possible plutonium supplier. Oh, look at the test tubes now. What are in the test tubes? I can't help but check out the test tubes. They are filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting on the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid. Only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first it looks like it's expanding and contracting like a blowfish, then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. As I look closer, it springs back into existence in a completely different test tube, and I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air, and it makes me think that someone had used this lab recently. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get that very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Whoa! Please tell me I'm not about to die here. Okay? Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I don't want to die yet. Not today. It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. Put hands up in the air. Put the hands up! Don't try to attack, that'll make him shoot. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake in a maniac if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you, and how did you get here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you were here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. Aha! What? I ask. I'm unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared, but there's something else. We're just loggers. We're just loggers. Okay. That makes sense. Be honest. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, bullshit. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get into this situation? I think to myself. If only I had left that damned ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. That's what I'm saying! I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. No, just us. We're looking for our crew. Definitely be honest, because this guy's got a gun for starters. He could protect us if he believes us. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew, he asks, seeming confused. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there is no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how'd you get in here, the man asked. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. Please, put the gun down. Grab the gun. Be cool and grab the gun. Come on. You decide to try to steal the man's gun. He looks like he might laugh at any request, and it is this arrogance that makes me crack and once again rely on my instincts. I reach out quickly, slapping the gun barrel away. I then reach for it and nearly have a grip on it when the man jerks to the left. A ballsy move startles him, but not nearly enough. He brings the butt of the rifle around like a javelin, and it catches me on the right side of my face. The blow knocks off my hard end and sends it skidding across the floor. With a flare of pain in my head, I manage to stay on one knee. I then release my hands quickly and surrender, letting him know that I am aware that I have made a grievous mistake. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Step between Dennis and the gun. Step between them. I'm not letting you kill Dennis. You step between the gun and Dennis. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says, but now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what, I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Yeah, who sent you, he asked. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? Yeah, I'm the president. No, what the hell are you talking about? If I say, yeah, I'm the president... Screw it, let's say, yeah, I'm the president. Let's do it. The armed man looks as if someone had slapped him. You think I'm playing, he asks, jabbing me with the barrel of the gun? You think I won't blow your head off? Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later, someone will come along and holds the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then, in a movement so fast I just don't miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he's moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he was. But now he's moving lightning fast, and his left arm coming down the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor and at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I could use it as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Punch him. Just punch him, dude. You're not that weak. Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often, never really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. Stand up and step back. You don't need to do anything. You took it easy on the man. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches onto the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was nothing. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I say, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. Like, no, he wouldn't. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does, too. I walk over and pick up my hard head off the floor. After placing it on my head, I turn towards the man. Will you get answers from this guy? No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly, and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Yeah, me neither. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. Well, we've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us. This steel sliding door is larger than a normal elevator. I'm yawning so much, it's not good. It's affecting the story time. It's no good. No good. No bueno. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name, I ask. Marcus. Ah, Marcus, hey. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. Yeah, you better. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be, I ask? No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig it for it. I need a first aid kit from my friend here, I say. Where might I find one? Down the second floor, he says, but we can't go there now. Or we can't go down there. We are going down there, why? Or we'll figure out what's on level 2. Why can't we do that? He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the president, so take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a friggin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder if I'm in what sort of trouble I could get into for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be linked to though. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. Let's ask for help. I don't think there's enough to... Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on to find our crew to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all of your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Yes, thank you, I say, because I am smart and I don't threaten people. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel door slides open with a whisper, revealing the interior. Where are we going now? We're in an elevator. This is crazy! It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I have expected the thing to take off at a speed of light. There's another small keypad in the front right panel by the door with the options for 3 sub-levels floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get the first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't, Marcus looks at as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here? Dennis leans into the corner, almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly, we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motor fills the space. What can you do? So are we stuck here forever? Marcus scowls at me. I think it's a fair question. It doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. We'll find somebody with the access codes and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. These people think they are so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class is at MIT, MIT, and I'm stuck living underground helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. How big is this place? What goes on here? What goes on here? Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. Okay. What's your job? How big is this place? I don't care how big it is. I know it's big. What's your job? I handle the IT, work and make sure the databases are up and running. It's a 24/7 job. I haven't seen sunlight in almost a year. I wonder what staying in a place like this for that long would do to someone's mind. I was recruited, he continues. Because of the workload, no one else wants this job, but I don't really mind being by myself, no family. Plus, the IT, it's some crazy shit. Crazy how, I ask. This place generates over 100 terabytes of data per day. He answers, getting the slightest bits excited before his face falls again. What knocked the lights out? What happened here? Well, let's say what knocked the lights out. Okay, that makes more sense. Seems like some sort of power outage, Mark says. That's all I know. There was an outage, and then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how, I asked. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors, when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw, what I asked, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for a little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case you know. Just in case of what? So we're still in danger here? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and then the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? End of chapter 2? No, that can't be the end. This is getting good. What is this thing that's going on down here? This is interesting. What are our stats for that chapter? Curiosity. You and 39% of players obeyed the warning sign and stayed away from the glow. Selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. And that's it. Wow. I wonder how things could have gone differently if I changed it up. You know, what if I hadn't even attacked Marcus? You know, it begs an interesting question. Well, anyway, guys, that's the end of chapter 2. Thanks for watching. In the next episode, we are going to be doing chapter 3. And as always, it seems our journey here has come to an end. Or has it? I will catch you guys in the next video. Godspeed!